Hello and welcome once again to a new episode of the Kate and Eric Show podcast here, brought to you by Faith, Family, Friends, and Freedom. So, this has been kind of a rough week. If you follow the show, thank you very much. Thank you to any new listeners. Thank you to all those that do listen. I really, really appreciate it. You can find me on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, and Truth Social, Kate and Eric Show on all of them. I post other things, and you can see my handsome face, not just hear my voice, on all of those other social media sites there. Then I post a whole bunch of fun things, newsworthy things, just some historical accuracies, if you will, about what's going on over in Israel and whose land really it is and who's been there forever, which has been the Jews or the Hebrews back in ancient days. But, so today is a sad day. Today, I thought I was going to come into this episode this week and be all excited that the Astros were going to go to a third consecutive World Series, but, no. Unfortunately, they did not. It's upsetting because now Dusty Baker is leaving. He's retiring, and it just kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie, it just kind of sucks. They've done, even with the stupid sign-stealing scandal crap that every other team did before, people were doing it before them. But everybody likes just to point to them like, 2017, that wasn't a real ring. That wasn't a real thing, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. But even though they had a better road record than home record, and they won 2 of those World Series wins in L.A., the last one being Game 7. But anyway, but what Dusty has done, Dusty Baker, he used to be a player. He's managed for like 26 years. He's managed, I believe he managed the Giants. He managed the Nationals. He managed us, obviously, the Houston Astros. I believe he also managed the San Diego Padres at one point. But it just kind of sucks because, I'm happy. I'm great. He's getting up there. He's 74. He needs to, spend time with his family. He did a press conference post game and said, he hasn't been home since like February 11th or something like that. So, it was just time for him to retire. He did finally get a ring last year, which was great. I was excited for him that he finally got his ring. But the uncertainty of the off season and what's going to happen, who they are going to get as their new manager. And then you have the players, Altuve, Alex Bregman. They're both next year will be their last years on their contracts. And then, it's just this part of this, baseball sucks where you're uncertain. You sit there and you cheer for these guys all year long or for many years, and then they're just gone. Like, I talked to a guy in Kroger here when the series was still in the middle of the series, and he's a Rangers fan. I was wearing an Astros hat, and of course, and he was wearing a Rangers hat, and he came up and talked to me. And he's like, I really miss that one guy, Springer. And I was like, yeah, George Springer. Yeah, I do miss George Springer. It was fun to root for him. And I was kind of rooting for them in the playoffs for the Blue Jays there, but for him. But the World Series will feature the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I don't know. I'll pay attention to it. I don't know how much I'm going to watch, if any of it. Living here in the DFW, I know I have a lot of listeners in this area here, and it's just the Rangers fans online that I've seen all over social media are just obnoxious. I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, yeah, you haven't been good for over a decade, and then you have this is your one good year in over a decade, and then you're like the king of the world all of a sudden. Just come back to it. There's all. I mean, it's just probably they're just excited, I guess, that they beat the Houston Astros. But this was definitely an off year. I mean, we lost more at home. For whatever reason, they just could not win at home, and that doesn't make, that recipe there is not a recipe for success. But anyway, it's sad. It's sad that the baseball season is over for me, because ultimately I kind of really don't care who wins the World Series. There's a bunch of people I work with. They're like, "So you gonna root for the Rangers now?" And I'm like, "No, why would I root for the Rangers?" But good luck to both of them. Our old pitching coach, Brent Strom, is on the Diamondbacks, and then Yuli Gurriel, who used to be our first baseman for many years, his brother plays for the Diamondbacks, so I'll probably root for them. Yeah. Plus, there's the Rangers have Corey Seager, who was on that 17 Dodgers team. So yeah, probably I will never probably cheer for that. And anyway, but so that's the baseball update. It's sad that he's gone, that Dusty's gone. But he deserves to spend. He deserves to have a good retirement there and spend the time with his family. We also had so that's the baseball update. There probably won't be another baseball update next week, maybe just to say who's winning or who's losing, because the World Series Game 1 starts tomorrow and then Sunday, and then I believe the rest of it is next week. So maybe by next Thursday, this thing will all be over, and then I'll just say who won. So this is not the World Series that I figured would happen, though. I did not think that the Texas Rangers, they're certainly not the Arizona Diamondbacks. So, congrats to them for, hammering their way through. I believe beating the Dodgers. I think they swept the Dodgers and then beating Philly in Philly. I was watching a bunch of videos of Philly fans. They're just distraught, dejected, and just upset. And I'm like, I feel you right there. So just kind of sucks. Just that hopefully this won't be the end of the dynasty. And yes, it is a dynasty for, they've been to the ALCS, the championship series. For those that don't watch baseball, and just maybe watch football or something, it'd be like going to the NFC or AFC championship game 7 times in a row and the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and winning the Super Bowl twice in that amount of time. And they have won the division in full seasons, not counting the ridiculous COVID year, every year. So, yeah, this has been a dynasty here for the Houston Astros, and hopefully it will continue next year. And we'll just have to see what goes on this offseason, who they sign, who they keep, who the new manager is. And I've probably talked about this long enough, and you're probably bored out of your mind, but let's go on to other things here. So, of course, then the NBA started again. I probably won't speak very much on that. I'm not a big fan of the NBA. I think it's not as exciting and that's soft compared to when I used to watch it back in, the 90s and things. But, so the NBA season started. I did see, though, that the Nuggets beat the Lakers, and LeBron James got crossed over and ended up being flat on his butt. So that was exciting. NHL, I think, let's look that up here. That is one thing that I have not really followed at all in my lifetime, but living here in the DFW area, the Stars did really well last year, so I kind of followed them a little bit. Looks like Boston, the Bruins are really good again. Dallas, I guess, is in second place in the Central Division of the Western Conference behind the Avalanche. And then the Stanley Cup winners last year, the Vegas Knights, are 7-0. So the rest of them, I don't have any idea who's good, who's not. So if you're wondering, why isn't he talking about this team? I don't have any idea. You probably have to find that information somewhere else. But college football. So this week, I will be going to Austin to see BYU play Texas. So hopefully that will be good. I have been to I've been in the University of Texas once with my wife. Before we were married, we went down there and watched a game. Unfortunately, that game they did not win it. They played West Virginia and lost to the Mountaineers. But so this is going to be an interesting game because I like both teams. I have been a BYU fan for much longer, and this is the first time in probably since they've left the Mountain West that I have been excited about a BYU football season, because I hated the independent crap. I did not like it because if you lose one game, you're going to play for the dumb, I don't know, Idaho State Bowl or something. It's just, not to mess with the Idaho Potato Bowl or anything like that, but just it's not quite the same. So I actually am excited about this, so it'll be interesting. Of course, my dad and my brothers, we're going, and then my sister-in-law, uncle, and cousin are all going down to Austin. My uncle and cousin are flying in, and we will be going down to Austin to see that game. It is a great stadium, though. It's a whole seats, I think, over 100,000 people, and it will be fun to sit there and I still don't know who I'm going to cheer for. My dad will be so angry if I come in burnt orange. So, but yes, this because if you just coming into the show here, I do root for both BYU and Texas. Florida State, they finally figured out how to beat Duke over the weekend, and they are ranked 4th. Nothing really changed as far as the top 10. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, Alabama, and then Penn State is the top 10. But anyway, let's get into this thing here, into this. Then the 49ers lost again to the stupid Vikings. So that sucks. Let's get into this here. So as I was preparing for this show, I prepared for it during the earlier part of the week. We did not have a Speaker of the House at that point, and I was going to say, how come we don't have a Speaker of the House? Why don't we have a Speaker of the House yet? Because I don't understand it. Why didn't we have one? I mean, Jim Jordan would have been a great Speaker of the House. But we finally do have a Speaker of the House. His name is Mike Johnson. I've never heard of him. I don't know who he is. But there is a really awesome website that you can go to and check out their, what do you want to call it? Their conservative or scoring. It is done by, I had it pulled up. Oh, there we go. Liberty Score. So the website that you can go to is Liberty Score. Let me pull it up. Let me get it a little bigger here. libertyscore.conservativereview.com is where you can go find this information, and you can look it up by states, by chambers, by parties. So if you look up, let's just check out his Liberty Score, and this will just they rank it based on their voting and all that kind of stuff. If you look up Mike, what is his name? Johnson. Mike Johnson here has so 100% is they're 100% conservative. And then obviously 0 is their 0% conservative. So that would be like your Joe Bidens and your Hamas caucus people. But Mike Johnson is from Louisiana, and he has a 74% score, Liberty Score, which is good because we had Mike. Let's see, did they come up here? Mike, let's go by last name. No, it's Kevin. What am I talking about? Kevin McCarthy. Just to kind of give you compare and contrast or a comparison here, Kevin McCarthy had a 54%. So hopefully Mike Johnson will be better at conservatism and bringing the swamp, draining the swamp. But they did have Jim Jordan from Ohio, which I really, really like. And his score I guess it was just too much for them at 94%. So if you want to go, like I said, if you want to go check this out on your own, libertyscore.conservativereview.com. Let's just look up for fun. Let's see. Cortez. Let's just check out her score. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as part of the Hamas caucus. Her freedom score is 20%, which is kind of high, I would think. I would figure her to be in single digits. But yeah, so they base all that on their voting. Conservative votes, liberal votes, missed votes, Liberty Score. That's their score. So you can go check that out. It's kind of fun. It's pretty cool. It shows them what they voted on, yes or no, on a whole bunch of different things. So you can go check that out, Liberty Score. So yes, we finally do have a Speaker of the House, and so that's great. So hopefully we can get back to business and stop sending money to Ukraine, get the Joe Biden impeachment up and running again. So let's get on the ball. Let's get all that stuff done. Because I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of the corruption and the lies and the nonsense going on in Washington, D.C. So there's there's that. So finally, yes, we do finally have a wonderful Speaker of the House, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pull up episode where I'm at. So I would like to kind of go over and all of this. There's some things that I have found in listening to other talk shows or podcasts or I really don't watch much news. I mean, it's anything that I do watch on TV is sports related. It's baseball or football, right now. So I don't really watch a whole lot of cable news. I don't watch the local news because I just think it's obnoxious and annoying. Plus, they're run by the liberal news networks, so I don't watch any of them. But as I listen to other things and look things up for myself, I have found and I've come across this particular video and where people, the first responders, I guess sort of like the EMS or maybe the police of Israel, and what they came across. And then I'm going to go into, there's a video that I will repost on my social. I think I already did repost it on X. Kate and Eric Show on X. You can go look that up. You can go check it out. It says, "Who is Hamas?" and it lays it all out. It was done really, really well. I'll play you the audio part of it here. But I wanted to show you and have you listen to what some of the first responders came into when they came into the houses of some of the Israelis when Hamas attacked Israel about 3 weeks ago. So listen to, there's two different videos here, or two different audios, so it'll explain both. But just kind of listen to what they have to say. It is broken English, so it might be a little difficult. So if you have to, replay it again and you'll hear it. So here we go.
The first house we saw was a couple, father and mother, sitting there on the knees on the floor. They were on the knees, now they were head down, hands tied to the back. On the other side of the dining room was a 7-year-old boy and a girl, I would say about 6 years old, sitting just against the parents, hands tied to the back, same position. The bodies were tortured. While now, start to use imagination. Who was tortured before? Who saw if this was a purpose? If this was the children looking at the parents being tortured, the parents seeing, and when I say tortured, I will say missing body pieces. An eye, just taken out an eye, one eye, fingers being, and all this happened, and by the end, they all had a bullet, and still not finished. In the middle, there's a table. Those parents were sitting and eating the Saturday meal that was prepared for this family. They just took it and they ate this meal while torturing these children.
Just, let me show you. Let me play a different one.
I was everything. I saw everything. I thought I saw everything, but something like that I never saw.
So they, in the second audio there are body bags, and they are loading them up from that attack on the music festival. But the first one there, he alludes to the fact that these barbaric pieces of garbage of Hamas, and who are backed, and you'll hear the clip here in a little bit, that they are backed by the Palestinian people. They sat there as they tortured this poor family, ate their food, and I guarantee you, with what this guy said here, is that the parents watched as the children were tortured, and then the parents were finally killed. I guarantee you that's what happened, and what he was alluding to, because it was very difficult for him to say that. And then you have people across this nation who sit there and support this, who wave the Palestinian flag. There was a flag being flown, and I did this on one of my, I did this on social media here on all of, I posted it on all of them. There's a video of some people. I did a still shot, and then I commented on it, so you can go check that out anywhere on any social media. But they were flying a Hamas flag in Minneapolis, Minnesota. A couple of idiots, a couple of pro-terrorists were riding their motorcycle down one of the streets in Minneapolis, Minnesota with a Hamas flag. I mean, what is going on? I mean, is anybody really surprised with that, with the horrific border that we have? We don't have a border. There are some of the Fox News numbers, or the terror watch list encounters. So they gave a number of years. They went back to 2019. And from that year, there were three terror watch lists in 2019. 2020, there were also 3. And who was president during those years? Yeah, that'd be Trump. Since President Pooped His Pants has taken office, 2021, there were 16. Oh, and you think, oh, that's, and how many brought down the World Trade Center and all that? Were 16. Or 19, one of the two. Last year, 98 on the terror watch list that they encountered. So who knows how many they did not encounter. This year, you think, oh, it can't be much worse than 98 terrorists. All right. How about you double it? Just about 172 on the terror watch list. Border Patrol agents encountered on our southern border. And you sit there and think, like, okay, so that means they got all of them, right? No. I guarantee you they didn't get all of them. But yeah, so that's the Biden's America there. So this year, the southern border encounters the fiscal year of 2023. Like I said, I think last week, the week before, September had a grand total of 269,735. encounters of illegals crossing our border in the south. Here, in Texas, especially Arizona, New Mexico, California, they just pouring across the border. So grand total for this year that they have encountered, mind you, encountered, that does not mean all that they have found, because I guarantee you they have not found all of them. 2.4 million, over 2.4 million encounters so far this year, in this fiscal year. And they're all, they're just a bunch of families, right? They're just a bunch of mom and dads, of grandma and grandpas, little Johnnies and little Sarahs coming across the border, just wanting better life. But then you look at all the videos, and it's all military-aged men just pouring across, and they're not just coming from Mexico or Venezuela or South or any other South or Central American country. No, they're coming from China and all over Asia, the Middle East, Arabs. Everybody's coming over. Russians. So yeah, that is who we have coming across our border. And I want to share some. I'll get to the Hamas thing here in a second here, but I want to share. Let's do that right now. Let's do that now, and then I'll share some. Ilhan Omar, the despicable congresswoman from Minnesota. And, for the listeners in Minnesota, get her out. Vote her ass out. But there is a tweet that or a X, whatever that crap it's called, that goes into who is Hamas. It's a few minutes, so just hang in there, listen to this, and you will understand who Hamas is, who has supported them. Just have you listen. So hold on momentarily. And it is a video, so if you want to watch the video as well, go to any of the socials, and you can see. Go to my Twitter, X, whatever. X just sounds weird. But, go there, the Kate and Eric Show, and you will be able to watch it. It says, who is Hamas?
In 1973, Sheikh Ahmad Yassin, an Islamic cleric from Gaza, founded the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. 14 years later, in 1987, Yassin founded the Islamic Resistance Movement, or Hamas, as the paramilitary wing of the Palestinian Muslim Brotherhood. Yassin founded Hamas with the help of Abdallah Azzam, a highly influential Islamic thinker affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood. Azzam, also known as the father of global jihad, was the mentor of Osama bin Laden and helped him create Al-Qaeda.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to pause it for a second. So great. This guy helped Osama bin Laden. Yeah, we all know what he did.
The doctrines and aims of Al-Qaeda, Hamas, and ISIS, which emerged from Al-Qaeda, are all based on the teachings of Abdallah Azzam. In fact, the sign above the door of the Hamas Military Academy in Gaza reads, "Welcome to the Dr. Abdallah Azzam Academy." Most people think that Hamas's goal is Palestinian independence. But the Hamas charter cites the words of the Prophet Muhammad, quote, "The day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews. When the Jew will hide behind stones and trees, the stones and trees will say, 'O Muslims, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him,'" end quote. In other words, Hamas's founding document calls for genocide against the Jews. Hamas does not seek Palestinian independence. It seeks to exterminate the Jewish people and destroy Israel. Does Hamas represent the citizens of Gaza? In 2006, in a democratic election, Hamas won a majority 74 of 132 seats in Palestinian Legislative Council, the legislature of the Palestinian Authority, which governs the autonomous areas in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Hamas remains the majority of this legislature to this day. And ever since 2007, Hamas has total governing control of the Gaza Strip. According to the Palestinian Center for Policy and Survey Research, in a study from 2021, 53% of Palestinians prefer Hamas leadership to that of Mahmoud Abbas, the more moderate head of the Palestinian Authority. And as recently as July 2023, polling by the Washington Institute shows that overall, 57% of Gazans express a positive opinion of Hamas, along with similar percentages of Palestinians in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. So, who is Hamas? Hamas has the same origins, beliefs, and goals as ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Hamas openly calls for genocide against Jews and the eradication of Israel. And Hamas is the democratically elected and preferred leadership of the people of Gaza.
So there you go. There you go. So when you see all of the people around and around the country, it's just absolutely despicable. That and you have the you have our president out there saying that the Palestinians, Hamas just doesn't represent all of the majority of Palestinians. Well, President pooped your pants. You would be dead wrong, because they in fact do support Hamas. And then you have all of these college kids out there supporting, flying the Palestinian flag, yelling "Free, free Palestine." I'd like to go up to that and say, well, you want to free them from Hamas, free them from the terrorist that is embedded in their country. I don't know if they're a country. I don't think they're a country, but in Gaza there. Get free Palestinians, the ones that don't support Hamas. Why don't they free Hamas out of Palestine? There you go. That'll be free. Israel doesn't have anything to do with what's going on in Gaza. Gaza, it's its own thing. They do their own thing. And, they use the aid that is sent to them by us. Yeah, we send them millions and I think billions of dollars. What do they do with that money instead of building an infrastructure, building, a good water supply system, building, good power plants or whatever, for their infrastructure? What do they do with all that? What do they do with the supplies? There are other videos out there, and they're not ashamed of them. They are not ashamed of them. But they build rockets and missiles and bombs out of the materials and from the money that is sent to them. So, yeah, that's what they do. And then they fire on Israel, and then Israel retaliates and defends itself, and then Israel is the bad guy somehow. So I don't understand how that makes any sense. And then it's going around everywhere. There are pro-Palestinian things going on all over the country. It's just insanity. And then it's just, it's just these stupid people that support this stuff. They'll fly the pride flag with it too, or they'll have this other sign that says "Queers for Palestine." Do they not understand what the Palestinians would do with their little pride nonsense? Yeah, there's another video that I have. I don't know if I've posted on my socials, but there's another video where there's somebody waving a pride flag in one of these pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist rallies, and then it is subsequently ripped down on the ground. The pole is taken, and it's just they don't support that crap. They're not tolerant. But then you have, in our own country, you have congressmen supporting this crap. They sit there and cry. Last week I played the little clip of Rashid Tlaib sitting there crying. Oh, she's crying because they're dead. They're killing him. So here is Ilham Omar. There's a couple clips here, and then I think I'll end for today, but this is what she has to say.
Every time the professor said Al Qaeda, he sort of like his shoulders went up, and
he's in command here.
Al Qaeda, Hezbollah.
He's an expert.
And it was,
What's his name? What put his name on the
we are not saying his name.
Oh.
You probably get to.
They're not saying his name because they don't want to get him in trouble.
I love those guys.
But it is that you don't say America with an intensity. You don't say England with an intensity. You don't say the army with an intensity.
Qaeda.
But you say these names because you want that word to carry weight. Every time
you want Al Qaeda and you want Hezbollah and you want Hamas to carry weight. She's so excited about it. She wants it to carry weight. She's all for the destruction of Israel and whatever. It's if you love it so much over there, go over there. Bye bye. See ya. Bye bye. But a reporter was asking her, and then I'm not sure. It says a ceasefire now. They did this little stupid thing out in D.C., but she kind of loses her cool with a reporter.
Question from anyone else?
Burned, tortured, killed their babies and children, and still have them hostage. Why don't you want the Israelis to go after the terrorists that did that?
So if you can't hear that, sorry, the video is kind of crappy, but or the audio is kind of crap. But if she's asking why, let's just play it again.
How many more killing?
Because she kind of freaks out there for a minute.
A question from anyone else?
Burned, tortured, killed their babies and children, and still have them hostage. Why don't you want the Israelis to go after the terrorists that did that?
Yeah, so she's asking, why don't you want the Israelis to go after the people that burned, killed, tortured innocent children, women? Why don't you want Israel to go after them?
How many more killings is enough for you? Is it 1,000 more?
Eli Omar, ladies and gentlemen.
2,000 more? 3,000 more? How many more Palestinians would make you happy if they died? Will you be fine if all of the people of Gaza were gone? Would that make you happy? Would that be the thing that makes you proud? And maybe that's the question you should ask Richie. Is he okay? How many more Palestinian lives is he comfortable with? Because I'm not comfortable with any more.
Oh, then she walks off like, oh, yeah, but she's perfectly fine with the death of all the Israelis, innocent Israelis that have happened over there. So, yep, this is our elected officials, ladies and gentlemen. So those that are my listeners and this audience in Minnesota, please do us all a favor and get her the heck out of Dodge. Okay? Please get her out of there. Tell your friends, tell your family members in Minnesota, please, the next time her election's coming up, get her out. She doesn't represent you. She doesn't represent America. She represents a terrorist group. So please, get her out. Same goes for Detroit as well. Tell your friends, family, get them out. Get these people the heck out of Dodge. Because they don't represent you. They don't represent America. They represent themselves and terrorism. But, yes. So, that is the condition of we're in. But hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Like I said, if you want to listen to other things that I post, I have them all over the socials on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, True Social, Kate and Eric Show on all of them. So please go like, subscribe, check it out. And then with this show here, please do rate, subscribe, and all that. Then more people will see it. And it's fun. It's fun to sit there and look at all the different cities and all the different areas that people are picking up the show. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Hopefully you have a great week. And I will talk with you next time. Bye-bye.